when was the first time you actually met the original Sheik?
Eddie, I never really worked for Eddie that much.
Right.
But I was on several cards with him, and we are, we're genuine Middle Eastern, So that was always a pet peeve of mine. I know there were several places where the guys weren't Middle Eastern and did this thing here, but I really didn't like that.
Right.
And I couldn't be an Italian or a Mexican or a Spaniard or anything like that. So, and they couldn't really be an Arab. People have to see that.
Sure. Now you worked for Vince Sr. too.
Yes, I did, 1976.
What was that like?
That was good. When they would bring you in, Bruno was the guy, who incidentally was a tremendous man. So I was going to get my shot with Bruno, and Stan Hansen went in there the same time I did, and Frank Goodish, who became Bruiser Brody.
Right.
So Stan got the shot with Bruno, and they did the old scoop slam and robbed Bruno. Remember that?
Yep, broke his neck.
All right. So, and Bill Apter and they were all, George Napolitano, they were all up around there with the magazines, and so they called me in the office and said, we got to follow up this angle, which was fine. So eventually what I did, I wound up working with Putski, who was over big time at that time. And I'd go into Trumbull, Greenwich, Connecticut, and places, and really made good money with him, so I didn't have any regrets. The only regret I really had is not working with Bruno, because he was an awesome man.
Right. What was Stan Hansen like back then?
Who?
Stan Hansen.
Stan was good. Stan and Frank cut their teeth in that Louisiana territory. And both of them were green, but we teamed them, and they made it. They made up for it in their fire and aggression.
Right.
And they were, as you know, Stan later on became a big card in Japan, and so did Brody.
How was Frank like early on?
Frank was Frank. I'll tell you the story on Frank. He was a sports writer. My cousin Doug's gym in Dallas. When I used to come home periodically, Doug called me. He said, I want you to come down here and meet this guy. I think he'd be a natural for your business. And that's when I first met Frank. And Red Bastine was doing the booking in Dallas at that time. And I kind of buzzed Red Bastine about this guy. So they gave him a little bit. And I could see, the guy haven't done anything or in the ring or anything like that. I could see some tremendous potential.
Did he have the look as far as his hair yet, or no?
No, he didn't, but
right.
Just something about him. And they gave him 2 or 3 shots here, I believe, and then we brought him to Louisiana, and we were in KTBS in Shreveport studio.
Right.
So he hit the arm wrestling deal. And that's how we kind of broke him in. And at that time, we had 3 towns a night. And you could leave somebody on one end. So to get experience, we left him down there on that New Orleans end. And also I showed him how to, and if he was alive now, Frank would tell you, that Akbar showed me how to save some money.
Huh.
So, and he'd eat those tuna cans. But the thing with Frank, he was one of those I call students of the business. They come in this business to do it, make money, and there's a lot of guys that would, back in those days, would like a 6-pack of booze and a girl.
Right.
So, but the students of the business, and in modern days, I have a lot of guys cut their teeth with me. Bradshaw's my boy, and Steve Austin and Mark Calloway. They were all with me, and if you ask them about me, they'll always say good things. And I keep up with them, and I love them.
I'm definitely going to ask you about those guys coming
Sure.
up. So, As far as from wrestling to managing, what made you go to switch from?
Well, I was wrestling, and I saw the handwriting on the wall in this business, interviews. So I practiced endlessly, the mirrors, grimaces. But when I learned how to talk, see, that gave you the longevity. There's so many guys, and they were great workers in this business. Never really learned that. So it became a shortcoming. And the better you do it, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
And so along the 77, 78, I came back and we had a deal in Louisiana and on that area like that. And what had happened was we did a deal where I got my arm broken, and I came back and managed the mass medics, and I was always the mouth for them, and it helped the longevity, and it was very, very smooth for me.
What actually made you decide? You just said, I'd rather manage them.
Well, yes, more, but I'd always enter the ring on special occasions.
Right.
So I always kept myself in good shape and everything. In case this situation presented itself, I'd be there to do the wrestling.
Right, right.
And it worked out very, very well. And then, of course, you know the story about some of the best in the business with me.
Oh, yeah. Was it harder than you thought, getting into the managing end of things, or was it pretty much
No, actually, managing was, it's just not standing around. And you have to do the right things. And another thing too is I never was afraid of the heat.
Right.
I knew you had to make that money, and but there's a lot of guys that manage, and it's very, very dangerous. I mean, you can take care of yourself if you can see in front of you, but if your back is turned, that's a different story.
Right. Can you make good living managing on the territories back then?
Yes, because you're a part of it.
Right.
I mean, and the more heat you got, the more your man got. So, at one point in time, they could stick anybody they wanted to. And with me,
Get them right over.
they're right over.
All right.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on Terry and Dory Funk? The Funks.
Dory Funk worked in Amarillo, 65, I believe, just for a short time. And very good. At that time, Terry was just starting, and Dory had about a couple of Dory. I started in 62. I think he started in 63 or 64. But it was Dory. That territory was the largest city was Albuquerque. It was
Right.
about 200,000. And remember this: the smaller the city, the more you have to give them, is where it'd be believable, more tight working. In as much as New York, if you peed maybe 30,000 people in Philadelphia, you got how many, 2-3 more million to come in. So the difference was you had to work tight.
Right.
And personal issues, because like Amarillo was 130,000, Lubbock, they were the big towns, and Albuquerque was a big town, and we really didn't have a large town. So, and really that was the way it was in Tulsa for a long time until we got New Orleans and Houston in there. Same thing, same concept.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.